Okay, so we're back. We're going to go on to the third question now, which is things are going to get a little bizarre. All right, so this one says, what may be some things biologically, physiologically, psychologically, etc., that we cannot see, that we cannot know, or that we cannot control?
Life.
Life in a holistic sense.
Yes. I was thinking that one biologically and physiologically. Like, for example, I was thinking about cells
Oh, yeah.
and their how your body like makes like lots of processes and you're not even aware of them.
Exactly.
I mean, it could be, for example, how your cells are always dying and renewing themselves and you don't notice. It is like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm just like shedding hair, or I just have like a little this thing of skin here. I just peel it off and that's it. But it is your body doing a lot of things.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
how you aging
Mhm.
process, it is something that you cannot stop. You cannot control. Oh, yes, I can stop it and control it by using creams and medicine and surgery and stuff. Like, nah, that is just for our eyes to see, but not like in the body. That's something that you cannot control. You cannot see and you cannot control.
Right.
I was thinking, for example, like many years ago, I used to study about those things, and I was thinking, for example, in the how you how your cells and your body generates energy. I mean,
Mm.
metabolic pathways. It is like a huge thing, huge deal inside your body, and you're not even aware of it.
Mm. Yeah, true. You don't know you can't control it either.
Uh huh. Or this one, they said when you're breathing, like breathing, not breathing. When you're breathing, that the moment you start thinking about it, you become aware of it, and you need to do it consciously. But suddenly
uh,
you're thinking about it, so you need to do it, right?
yeah, right.
You need to breathe again. But the moment you forget it again, it goes back to auto. Um,
Yeah.
yes, and psychologically, I don't think there are things that we are not in control of them in a psychological level. Because if you accept that you are not in control of mind processes, that means that, well, I don't know what does that mean. It means that you are living in an auto zombie way.
Right.
You need to be
Yeah.
fully aware. And when people, it's I met this other teacher that she was always telling her students, like, how do you feel? I feel happy. Why? I don't know. Nah, you do know why you're happy. So you need to
Mm.
be able to express those things. Otherwise,
Right.
you're lying, or I mean, in your head, in your mind, are happening things that maybe are not like in the first plane, but you know what are they.
Mhm.
You are conscious of it. Even,
Yeah.
I mean, there will be other things, for example, like dreams, things that you cannot control, but you are aware that you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Has it
Yeah. You
happened?
know.
Like, have you ever been in a dream where do you know you where you don't know that you're dreaming?
Yeah. I've had a lot of those.
Yes, that
Yeah.
you cannot distinguish between reality and dreams.
That I mean, aren't those how dreams typically are? That you think that like what's happening is real? Or do you mean that do you mean the dream where you know you're dreaming and then you can control it? Because I've also had those dreams, but those ones I've only had like maybe 4 or 5 maximum of those dreams that I control.
I mean, maybe not being able to control them, but at least you know that you're dreaming.
Yeah, I've had like 4 or 5 of those.
Because I have never had a dream where I don't know that I'm dreaming.
No,
No, I always know that I'm dreaming.
you always know that you all. So you mean that you can always control your dreams?
No, I cannot control them, but I know that I'm dreaming.
But if you know you're dreaming, if you know you're in a dream, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't that make you like you're free to do whatever you want? If you want, you can fly or
Uh,
run really fast.
in my case, I think it's like watching a movie. You know that you're watching a movie, but you cannot control the
Uh,
movie. So something like that.
oh wow! So you've never had dreams where you didn't know you were dreaming?
That I wake up and I was like, was that a dream? I mean, I have had like very vivid dreams, but I know they're real.
Oh, oh, you mean in the dream, during the dream, or after the dream? Because after the dream, I know I was dreaming, but during the dream, I don't
No,
know that
during
I'm
the
dreaming.
dream. During the
During the
dream.
dream, no, they're hard for me to have that. That's exceptional that you can do that.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I have a very active imagination. I don't know. But
Mm,
yeah, according to me, biological and physiological things are there are many that we cannot control. I was
right.
thinking maybe, for example, you can you can take care of your diet, you can do exercise regularly, you can go to like medical checkups and stuff, but if your genes are like have this predisposition to get you a heart disease, you cannot change it, and you're
Mm,
not aware of it, or maybe you are aware of it, but you don't know if it is gonna pop out in your
right.
lifespan or not.
Yeah.
But I tell you, like psychological stuff, I think that we are always in control of those. And when people thinks or believe they are not in control of it, is because there is something happening in their minds. They're very busy, or they are getting frustrated, but they can control everything. I mean,
Mhm.
in many occasions, I always thought that you had, I don't know if you still have it,
Uh,
or if you never had it as I thought, but I always thought you had like a different approach to psychology, because I have met a lot of
yeah.
people right now that they cannot live if they don't have therapy. They cannot live if they don't have a psychologist. And
Uh,
I find that like obscene, abusing, and pathetic. Like they are like,
yeah.
how can't you control your own emotions? It's because sometimes you're so overwhelmed. So relax, think, like stop for a while and think about things, but they don't. They rely on somebody else. It's because you need to talk about it with somebody. mm, I don't know. So I mean, I would like to learn how mind works, but I don't know, maybe that works for kids, for teenagers, when they are developing. But in an adult, I find it not useful. And if you are an adult and you can't control your emotions, your actions, the way you think, you have serious problems, and those could be fixed with medicine,
Yeah.
pills, with things that you cannot like fully control. Because if you say, no, it's because I have always this kind of bad thoughts, and I cannot control them. Okay, so that sounds like schizophrenia for me. So some medicines. I mean, because thoughts, that one, thoughts. I mean, we are like the
Right.
like the output. We can like have an interpretation of those thoughts, but all our emotions, all our thoughts, are just electric pulses and chemicals like shooting from one side to another.
Uh,
If you consider that you can't control what is happening in your mind, that means that it is not a psychological problem. That is more like a psychiatric problem. It is more about the chemicals in your head.
yeah, because the thoughts present themselves, and even like that, you have thoughts that present themselves when you don't really know why. Like even like psychopathic thoughts, right? Like there's someone I remember that there's some like this neighbor that's always making a lot of noise. And I had never done this before, but like I like literally like this thought came into my head, like curse him, like hex him, like if I were a wizard, and I like I wish, bad things for you, you fucker. And then it's like, whoa, like and the thought was there, like I was reading this book about this guy in India, and he said that like I think it's called The Science of Speech, and he says what you what you destroy with speech, you have to fix with speech. And then it's kind of like a Plato book where he or a Socrates, where like the student is asking the teacher, and the student then asks him, like it's like a dialogue, and the student says, so how do I do it, or what do I do if the thoughts, if they are thoughts, if it's not speech? And he says, don't worry about thoughts, you will pay for them in another life. Speech is in this life, and like it talks about like
Do not hurt
karma,
people with thoughts.
right? That's more of like a karmic thing, or yeah, like something when you die, or for the next life, or for, I guess he talks about your past life and your future life, but in the life that you're living, like your past life was like you in the past, your future life is you in the future, just like that. But I mean, yeah, like the electrical pulses that you have, there's a lot of physiological things that you don't control, even though you can control at times. Like you say, okay, my diet, I'm gonna eat healthy, or I'm gonna eat junk food, and that's gonna have an effect on you. Um, but I think like with the thoughts, there are also emotions that you feel at times. I mean, I think about this idea how we're on Earth, and Earth is like rotating in space, and if like Earth like rotates into like a negative discharge of a cloud that's in the space, and then like somehow that enters your head, right? Like, and then or it just enters like the city in which you're in, or your neighborhood, and you're just kind of off that morning, or you feel kind of bad, or because sometimes, I mean, I think if you're really honest with yourself, because I also understand the part where you say, I think you always know what's going on. If you're happy, you know why you're happy. You just don't want to say it, or you just don't want to see it. I also agree with that, because if you ask me in those moments when I feel like, just bad for no reason, and you're like, really, really, why do you feel bad? I could probably tell you, well, maybe because I didn't sleep well, or I haven't been sleeping well, or I'll find like a reason. But I like to think there are things that don't have an explanation, that we may find an explanation for them in the future, or maybe not, or maybe never, maybe until we die, or maybe just never, because nothing happens when you die, or whatever. I mean, like I think those type of things are what's really interesting, like what are things that are out there that we really don't know. Like I wrote down maybe what happens to us, because I think we like psychologically, I think there's a lot going on. Well, before I go into like the physical world, in the head, I think there are many things that we don't see, and I think we do want to see as much as we can. I mean, like you say that you can, that like all the time what's going on with you, and I think that's the ideal thing. For me, it doesn't really work like that. I mean, I think I don't know if it's because I'm lazier, or like slower or something, but like I can't pick up on many things. So sometimes like something will happen, and I'll feel like this, and I won't even like take notice of it. And there's consequences, there's results because of that. So I think I also think about this phrase that they say, you don't use like the full potential of your brain, and you can't process, or you can't think about everything, because if you did, you would be like overwhelmed. So like your brain sections it off like into little parts of like stimuli, and it like you receive the full stimuli, but it segments it right into like, oh, the visual, the auditory, and that's it, right? That's like all you can see, but maybe there's more stimuli coming in that we can't like even perceive. And as for the physical, I think there's a lot of things that happen, like just an example, I think a perfect example for this could be the chaos theory and traffic. right? Like for even if you try to have like control of everything, um as soon as you get on the road, right, with your car, your bike, even on foot, you have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea if there's a car coming, if there's two or three, if there's no cars coming, if there are people coming, you may bump into them. So you have to always like be aware of everything. And then sometimes, like they say, like just a person can run a red light and hit you, right? And or you can have an accident just out of nowhere, even though you think you're in control the whole time, you're driving carefully. I mean, I think about this crazy idea that if you were to hit, like, let's say you're driving the speed limit, right? It's like 40 kilometers or whatever. You're 40 kilometers, everything's green, no problem. Your seatbelt on, insurance, driver's license, you're a good citizen. And this guy just, he's crazy. He had a fight with his girlfriend, or I don't know, he's like crazy. He runs out in the middle of the road. You hit him and you kill him, on accident. You're going to be arrested. And I think that's crazy. And like based on the judiciary system in Mexico, you could even, if that guy is like has powerful friends or has a good lawyer or something, you could end up in life in prison, just for. And then it's like, whose fault is it? People aren't going to stop and think, whose fault is it really? They're just going to be like, he's dead and he killed him. He's at fault. He's going to jail for life. And this guy, for all we know, he could have, he would have been driving well, and this guy was, at fault. So I think like that's like, as for the physical world, other people are, they can be unpredictable. And but I guess that has like more to do with the future. Um, but yeah, that I think is like a crazy thing. And as far as the psychological, I think it's up to us to like uncover like what our parents taught us, because our parents condition us. If we go back to like Skinner and everything, whether they did it like explicitly, verbally, or by modeling implicitly, they conditioned us to respond to certain stimuli like a certain way. Some of those things, we choose to do consciously. Some of them we don't. We choose not to do them because we're like, yeah, I don't want to be like my parents, or I don't want to be like that. And other things we may not even know we're doing. So I think it's like, when people, because I used to be annoyed when people would say you got to go back to your past to uncover, like what's wrong with you and everything. And I used to hate that. I would say I don't have to go to my past, because I'm living in the now. But I guess that's why you do it, because you have to, like, I don't know if it's to blame your parents and not yourself, like kind of like take responsibility off you, and that kind of helps you with your problems. But I mean, that way you do uncover like those buried skeletons or treasure, or whatever that is stuck in your past, and you're kind of like, oh yeah. So I think you can control that, but obviously you can't control what your parents taught you. um yeah, basically. I don't know. You want to say something about this question?
I think no. This one about the physical thing and the guy
uh
going crazy and jumping. Again, it goes in causality, I think. And again, if you are such a good citizen as you mentioned, and you abide law and everything,
uh
causality, you cannot go for life into prison. I understand that part that you say that here the system is like really botched up, and they do bad things, and if they don't even need to find you guilty, just like they just point at you and that's it, you're over.
uh
But I mean, again, if we follow this kind of causality and you are a good person, in a moment or another there will be evidence that will pop out and will exonerate you,
uh
I think.
okay.
But I
Yeah.
mean, we know that people is not like 100% uh, following the law and everything. So that's why there could be problems. Like maybe they won't believe you. Maybe you will find an attorney that wants you to put you in jail forever just because he will make good money out of it.
Uh,
But given the situation that you are like a good person, I think in a moment something will arise and it will say the thing will say it's innocent, and people won't be able to deny it.
mm, yeah, like karma, like everything will be fair.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I wouldn't like to use the word karma, but yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, that could be some shit. And we go with the fourth one. The fourth one says, is time linear or circular and why? Oh, time.
I mean, in that one, I tried to read more things, and my conclusion is that time is not recursive, it is not circular, it is linear. And
Yeah.
what is the way I can say this? Because there are no proofs. I mean, not here in the world with time travelers or stuff. No. More like out there in the universe. There are no proofs that you can go back. I mean, that thing we were talking last time, that distance in space is so big that we are watching the past, but still we're watching
Uh,
in a line. We cannot watch even like further in the past. We just have one part and it is moving forward to us, and we are moving forward too. So maybe in another kind of dimension or in other kind of gravitational bodies, maybe their time could work a little bit different, but that's something that we do not know.
okay, this is very interesting because I think we can debate a little bit on this. Well, first, time is a perception, I think, of what we see as like one moment to the next, right? Like that's I think my idea of time, like what's happening, what happened, what's happening right now, and what will happen. It is in a way the essence of order. But for example, just now I was thinking about like a day, right? Like yesterday, today, probably tomorrow, we will all do the same thing we did last week or whatever. Like we get up, we drink our coffee, we go to work, we do these things, we go to sleep the next day. So I think in a way, like when we say it's circular, it's because we're saying it's repetitive, right? Like
Mhm.
there like it doesn't matter how big the circle could be. It could be a day, it could be a year. Like with the seasons, we go from spring to summer to fall to winter, and then again from spring to summer. So we have that cycle. In regards to the universe, I don't know what the cycle would be, but I think we can't discard the fact that there could be a cycle also out there of like galaxies, the way they, black holes or stars, how they are formed, or all of this. Um, but there was a theory that I read a while back. I think it was like at the end of university, that said something about how progress is circular, but it's spiral, and it goes in ascendance. I think that's called like the theory of complexity or something like that. It's by this doctor. And I mean, I would take his theory and apply it to time and say, you relive the same thing you live today, what you lived yesterday, but you have the opportunity to enhance it, right? Like you say, okay, I drink my cup of coffee, but I could add more sugar, or I could put no sugar, or like you can change the way you do things. So that means that you're like on another level. You're not on the same circle. You're not going like back and forth, repeating the same thing over and over again in exactly the same way. I mean, you're more or less repeating the same things, but you can change them a little bit and make adjustments.
I mean, I understand that part. I do understand where you're going,
Uh-huh.
but then I think isn't it not that linear, because it is not the same thing. And I was about to tell you that, like, you do the same thing over the week, over the year, over maybe 5-10 years, you do the same thing, but there are things, small things, that make the whole life different. That one, small
Mhm.
decisions. And yeah, I know, like, it is like a circle and it goes forward, but it goes forward. It's linear.
It goes forward. That is a little bit, yeah, because I mean, when
Because
I
you're
say,
repeating and you improve, you're repeating, you improve, but you are going forward.
oh, dang, so that yeah, there, it's not it's moving, and we could say it's moving up or it's moving forward because and that would be the linearity of it,
Uh-huh.
of that circle. Mm. Yeah, because I think that's the synthesis. It ends up being like a little bit of both, or it ends up being both things. You just have to know how to make them fit. Like I think I don't remember who, I think it was like Einstein or no, it wasn't Einstein. It was like obviously the people after Einstein with quantum theory, I think, or the theory of gravity. You know how he has the theory of relativity and the theory of gravity. I think someone was trying to make the two theories fit, but I think it's Newtonian theory and quantum theory that Newtonian theory is like very fixed, very classical, and then quantum physics is just out there. It's basically chaos theory. So they're trying to basically make them both fit because you have those two sides which are basically like fighting, and they're trying to reconciliate them and say, well, yeah, they're part of the same thing, but they don't know how to do that. Yeah, I think what we just did was like beautiful because it's like, yeah, it's like, you are going up, it's circular, but it's moving because you can't deny the fact that at least to us, our perception is like, yesterday happened, tomorrow will happen, and today's happening. So we have that sense of, sequence of order, which I think I don't know why we have it because I think in a way that's the root or the foundation for everything else in society that we try to give an order to, like we need to fix our rooms, we need to tidy up, we need to yeah, like schedule events, eat at a certain time, have an economy, money, so all this order. um, I have right here this thing that Tony Robbins would say, and he says humans need certainty, right? That's the first thing. That's the first thing they need. They need certainty, and the second thing they need is uncertainty. And I thought that was like pretty ironic because you're like, yeah, I want stability, but I mean, if you only give a human stability, they're gonna get bored. They also need diversity. They need to have fun, go out. Learn about different things, have different ideas. And of course, if you have too much chaos, too much diversity, then that's also a problem. You need like both of them a little bit. Um, but yeah, that's I think was like really interesting. Also, and it kind of fits into this whole time thing. I mean, I have gone to a psychologist. I'm still going to one because like I had like some problems with my girl and things like that. But basically, like I've seen two, right? And the first one I saw, he wasn't bad, but I don't think he helped me out as much as the second one is helping me right now. And the first one told me I had an obsession. I think he said you have a numerical obsession because it's like kind of an obsession with order, an obsession with he knew about the zodiac signs, how I was really into the zodiac signs, and like a lot of the fights with my girl were actually because of time, because I would say like we're doing this at this time and exactly at that time we had to do it, like kind of an obsession with order and obsession with time, and that's kind of like one big package, time, numbers, order, like all of sequence, all of that's like rolled up into one thing, I think. But yeah, it's like the avoiding chaos. I don't know what you want to say about that.
You have always known that you're obsessed with this kind of things.
Yeah, because I think it's just that people don't share that, and
But
that
I
and
mean,
that's when I become dysfunctional.
I'm going like not mean, but
Yeah, no, yeah.
you already knew this. Why going what's the need of going to a psychologist to tell something that you already know?
Mm, I mean, the first reason is because like my girl's basically like, you don't go and I'm leaving you.
Oh well. Okay. Okay. Forget about it.
Yeah, yeah, because no, like at first I was just like you. I was like, bro, I don't fucking need some dumbass motherfucker that probably doesn't know. You know, how is that fucker gonna know more about me than me?
Exactly.
You know, like I know me, you know, and yeah, like the first one, it was just like that, you know, like I would tell him things and he was kind of like, why? And I was like, because of this. And he was like, but why? You know, and he was just kind of like, he was like sassy. I think he was like, but why is that a big deal? And I was like, well, just because it's not a big deal to you doesn't mean it's not a big deal to me, you fucker, you know? Yeah, he wasn't that productive. And this one, he he basically tells me, yeah, like what I already know. He's like, well, why don't you just like chill out, you know? Like he finds other things that I say and he says, okay, you know how you were cool with this person? Why don't you try being like that way with this other person that you're not cool with? You know, and I'm kind of like, well, yeah, you know, I could try that. You know, I don't think they deserve it because they're not being fair, or you know, they're treating me badly. But yeah, it's like I think all of those practices basically boil down to, you know, have empathy, be, you know, think view people more like yeah, through like empathetic views, and I guess that
Work
helps
with
you out.
children.
But with children,
Work with children. I mean, again,
oh,
if you
oh
work with
yeah,
children, you will develop like a lot of skills and you won't need a psychologist. I mean, there will be other things like other like really heavy stuff happening there,
uh,
and you might get scared, but if you're in there and you need to work it out, I mean, you will do things by yourself and you will notice that you don't need other people telling you those things. You said like trying to be more empathetic. Like, I mean, working with kids, yeah, I mean, you think they are like little adults, but then you realize all the things they lack, or sometimes they have problems at home, and you need to be that support. So that's why I think I what I told you, like maybe kids, maybe teenagers, but I mean, in my perspective, an adult doesn't don't need a psychologist. You just need to shake off all that laziness, and it's like, yes, do the things.
mm,
Worlds needs you.
right. Yeah, I agree with that too. I think what were the other parenting skills that you said? Because that caught my attention, like in the first part where you said you developed parenting skills that you didn't even know you could have or you had.
I mean, for example, maybe some mental stuff, like you can notice when there's a problem. I mean, it
Mm,
also it almost feels like if you could smell those things, or you can find the right words, or probably you have a sense of righteousness, or I don't know, like doing things correctly, but it becomes clearer.
mm. Oh, like you have a reason why,
Uh-huh.
maybe because of the kid. Yeah, I'm completely perplexed by parenting. I mean, like, and lately that topic has popped up here and there with different, with for example, with the education video that I saw, and they were like, yeah, children and parents and teachers, and I'm just like, whoa, man, like I have no idea how.
Maybe next one it must be about that. It will be very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it could be about like how. Yeah, and I would have to really dig into that because I don't really know much about kids and how they should, and parenting. I mean, that's just like, you know, and parenting is like a very, it's like a lifelong commitment because you'll be like, oh yeah, you know, like my daughter, or you'll hear people like my daughter, my son, and it's like, how old are they? And they're like, oh, they're like 40 with their kids and everything, and it's like, you know,
You're
how
still
like,
parenting them.
yeah, you're still parenting them, or you got to take care of them, or you know, do we not take care of them? You know, because there's a certain age, you know, I guess, where like the children are now caring for the parent, but it's like, you know, and you get into all these like weird dynamics of like, are you gonna be now like their parent and give back to them or not? Do you even have the way to do it? Yeah, I mean, from the time they're babies until like it becomes basically like the other way around. That whole thing is just crazy. I mean, I don't know. That's like a it's worth exploring. I think we could probably talk about that for
Yes.
next time and like really dig into that because that would be really interesting. Well, Chava, I think we're gonna stop right here because the
Yeah.
time is almost up. But damn, very productive chat and a lot of insight, especially with the whole physiological, biological things that we don't know. I mean, age and all of that. I mean, yeah, that really got me thinking. Um, but yeah, we'll be in touch then for for session number 3.
Yes.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to comment and you know, support and let us know what you think or what you think we should do next, go right ahead. I'll be reading those comments. There aren't many of them.
We should invite Ray.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna talk to him. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll talk to him.
All right.
All right, man. Yeah. I'll talk to him and we'll meet up all 3 of us probably next time.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, brother. So I'll see you next time then. Have a good
All
night.
right. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Bye, man.
See you. Bye.